am a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I'm not a tourist. But just because I don't have a pair of Bermuda shorts, an ice cream and a Nikosaki Microzoom SLR UOK camera Cordematic around my neck doesn't mean that when I visit somewhere I don't need a bit of customer service. After all, isn't the leisure and tourism industry all about looking after people, making sure they have a good day out? One organisation which has ideas about how to look after the tourists who visit its sites is English Heritage. Historic houses, medieval castles, Roman buildings and ancient settlements, 400 important monuments they care for need visitors and careful preservation.
Most people know about the sites that are open to the public that we look after, but we also provide grants and give advice to the public. Our mission statement would be to protect the heritage for the future generation.
So, if you're a tourist, how do you find out where to go and what's on offer? Step up and take a bow. English Heritage's centrally organised, visitor-friendly, ready-to-help information service. We're talking customer services.
English Heritage Customer Service, Gladys speaking. How may I help you?
English Heritage Customer Service.
English Heritage Customer Services, Jonathan.
English Heritage Customer Services, Stuart speaking.
From its London base, their online, multi-megabyte master mail-out system has the power to make you feel a special visitor.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
So, customer service. 1, answer the phone. 2, listen to the customer. 3, have a computer database big enough to answer all the questions they might ask. Thank you. Now, hang on. Suppose you're one of the people who works at an English Heritage site and you've got hundreds of questions from thousands of tourists and no easy answers. Well, this is Dover Castle, and we're here to find out. Using castle in connection with Dover might just give you the wrong impression. 300,000 visitors a year get more for their money than a medieval monument. Crammed inside these walls are 2,000 years of English history, including, deep underground, a World War II military base. Potential not lost on the General Manager, Ken Scott.
Dover Castle is really something special. The people that come here, I think, that they generally want to know about history and heritage. Heritage is the key tourism business at the moment. I've got bits and pieces of 2,000 years of history that people can come and see, can hopefully understand, and will go away knowing a lot more about it and will have enjoyed their experience. One of the keys to that is the staff. And one of your most important tools are your staff. So you've got to say, well, you know, that they've got to know what to say, what to do, because the experience starts the moment you set out the door. So when they arrive, how they're greeted, you know, are they looked after, are they pointed out what to see, what to do, you know, all of that work.
From the moment they arrive at work, a custodian's job is to look after the site. Morning. Morning. To look after the site and to look after the tourists who visit it. Morning. So, what does that actually mean? What do custodians have to do? The early morning meeting at Dover might not suit lovers of a late night rock and roll lifestyle, but on a big site, custodians know that the best chance of making it a successful day is to work as a team, sharing the problems and making sure everyone knows what they're doing well before the first visitors arrive.
Both hide your away, so if you become Christians with that.
Pumping litter with a one-armed grab isn't the most entertaining part of a custodian's life, but tidying the site before it opens is a professional responsibility. And at least when you've cleaned up, you get to be keeper of the keys and open up the monument. At an English heritage site, few things are more important than the way custodians meet and greet their visitors. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Or be third time lucky. For, in a dog-eat-dog world, a cat doesn't necessarily have 9 lives.
Down on the gate, it's where we take their admission money, and really for a site like this, the admission money is quite cheap. But a lot of people, when you first read £5.50 per adult, are quite shocked. So the position of the custodian down there is 1, to be friendly, 2, to answer questions. A lot of questions we get asked are, you know, what am I getting for my money?
Yes, so thank you. Your voucher and your card, and there's your ticket.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
First place you can get grumpy people is down on the gate. They've had a long drive, the kids have been screaming in the back, and they didn't find a McDonald's to feed them before they got here.
Follow the signs to the car park and walk back down to the car park.
A lot of people get the wrong idea about a castle. A castle is anything inside the castle walls. It's not just the big building with a flag on, known as the keep.
And then you've got the key for the restaurant here. Okay then?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much then. Thank you.
For car-based visitors, meeting custodians at the gate is just the first in a day-long series of encounters. Historically, Dover was always likely to be a landing point for any invasion. Well, nothing much has changed, except that nowadays the army of invaders is a bit more likely to be tourists, making Dover a port of call in a campaign of visits through English history. Dover Castle, like all English heritage sites, must cater for a range of visitors, including thousands of students and schoolchildren, who need to be convinced that it's worth hanging on to our heritage. Taking a broader view and revealing the more recent past at Dover, especially the network of underground tunnels used as an operational headquarters during World War II, is all part of bringing history off the pages of the guidebook for young visitors.
I want you in here to plan something dramatic that might happen here.
I'm a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
We are tourists.
Lower car park to the left, upper car park to the right. I'm middle class, where do I park? Probably doesn't matter, but I do need good signs to get me round the place. If they don't work, I might end up taking the main course of my visit in the car park.
Well, just the general history of it, really. We wanted to see it, and we heard it was quite good through friends, so decided to come down for the day.
Well, they're all given a map at the beginning, so you have to hope that they do actually start looking at that map, which is a big problem because a lot of people don't look at the map at all.
We got a bit lost coming down here, where there was a shorter route that you could have come to get to here. We went, about a 5-minute walk, wasn't it?
Well, we went up to come down, and we had to walk along.
We were sort of looking through the map when we got in, you know, and one of the, I think it was one of the custodians, was it? Yeah. He sort of came up to us and sort of gave us a brief sort of outline of, you know, for the route, you know, what route to take, you know.
I'm short-sighted and I read every word. It doesn't bother me.
I think if you go too much, you get fed up with seeing too many signs. So it's a compromise between one or the other.
And if I want a bit of extra help, then I'm only likely to ask custodians who look approachable and give me the right signals.
You've got to have good body language. You've got to project a positive image with your body language. So therefore, we are encouraged not to fold our arms. It means you don't want people talking to you. You don't want them coming into your space. They don't want you doing any of this because that is boredom. You don't want to be here. You'd rather be somewhere else with your arms in your pockets like this isn't much good. So you're encouraged to stand with either your hands behind your back, which means you want people to come close to you, you want people to talk to you. You've also got to maintain your smile and your eye contact with people as they walk past. Or you can put your hands sort of in front of you, which is also a very relaxed way of standing, and hopefully people will still approach you.
English heritage custodians are trained to look after people who need a bit of special attention. But even here, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it.
Our range of services for people with disabilities has increased greatly. From electric wheelchairs, we have a scalar mobile, which is something you can strap a wheelchair to and get them into the keep to have a look round. Disabled toilets, obviously.
You had a fall, haven't you?
Yeah, I fell down and got stitches in my head. Over a paving stone.
So it wasn't too much gin then?
No.
We're now giving out slings for young babies, so if parents arrive and don't realise the sights and the stairs and all the rest of it, we can then actually help them. So we're far more customer friendly.
I've got a horn somewhere. Stop feeding. Thank you.
Ne passe grimper, my little German friends, French friends. I'm the king of the castle. Get down, you dirty rascal. Not perhaps how custodians should go about warning tourists of the dangers of scaling these slopes, not to mention the uneven ground, but it is important to remind visitors that old buildings and today's people may not always understand each other when it comes to safety. If you're sensible though, there are very few accidents waiting to happen. That was one of them. You're certain not to end up in a major catastrophe, but safety is important if you're a tourist.
We do very, very basic first aid. We have a first aid box, we get that out, take the name and address and just keep them calm. When we have very bad emergencies up here, then they do phone the ambulance, and also people are taken to hospital.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist. I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I'm a tourist.
I am a tourist. Oh dear.
As at many other English heritage sites, part of a custodian's responsibility at Dover involves working in the shop. But does its stock of books on castles, those medieval thimbles and replica broadswords also help promote the organisation?
We hope that people will see that the English Heritage Site means quality. They know that there's consistent quality throughout English Heritage Sites, not only with the product but with the staff.
And does a well-run shop have an impact on marketing?
I think it does. English Heritage look after the castle, and if we can also provide a good standard of shop, then I think that also enhances the quality of English heritage as a whole.
You can offer customers the best service in the country, but it's all for nothing if your organisation isn't telling people what you're up to and why they should visit your sites. So how good is English Heritage's marketing? In London, the capital of tourism, we asked a few people if they'd heard of English Heritage.
Yeah.
What do they do?
I don't know, but I've heard of it.
I know they're responsible for restoration of buildings, preservation of national monuments.
So our buildings, aren't they, outside?
They have jousting one day a year. And
I know they sponsor the Kenwood concerts in London.
You can join the club so you can go and see them.
Yeah, we heard of it, but we don't know exactly what it is.
Charge it, we're going to see old houses.
Marketing's not just a one-off. Most organisations have to keep working at it and to do their best within a fixed budget.
The key understanding is how to make the money that you do have go as far as possible. You tend to try to find out who your most typical type of visitor is and concentrate on those, because obviously the money will be best spent there. However, one has to balance that with the fact that our message needs to be broadened out. We can't ignore everybody else. We're looking at the tourism market generally. Therefore, you're looking at people who live in this country and those that visit from overseas. People from overseas are especially interested in our heritage. They are now a greater proportion of the total than they were 5, 10 years ago.
Marketing, I suppose in simple terms, is to bring the right product to the right people at the right time at the right price. The key to successful marketing is research anyway. I need to know that you, because of what you earn, what you do, what social category you are, what you read. You know, you may read the Sun. You know, I will advertise in the Sun. You know, you're not going to read the Times. There's no point in advertising in the Times.
There's more than one way to do market research. Maybe send out a team with clipboards to ask questions and collect answers. Perhaps invite a cross-section of volunteers for tea and a talk. And sometimes desk research will do the trick.
We will buy data from the tourist authorities. We'll keep up to date with publications that tell us where tourists are coming from, what people are doing, what the economic trends are. That's relatively useful, but of course it's not as specific as the questions that we can ask ourselves.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist. I'm a tourist.
I am a tourist.
Je suis une touriste française.
We're not tourists, we live here.
English Heritage's marketing department works in partnership with specialist advertising agency Liga Stellini, who can develop a campaign to attract more visitors. But what does the agency do?
There's two things. Find something to say about English heritage that differentiates it. English heritage does do things differently from National Trust. It does add something different. And secondly, you know, the challenge is a creative one. We need to produce a piece of creative work that really stands out and people notice.
But how does an advertising agency get the job in the first place?
Clients draw up a short list of agencies, and we're asked to what's called pitch for the account. And that's a process that can last a few weeks. And we come up with a set of recommendations, and then the client makes his choice.
And the judgment would be on the visual things that you'd see, their understanding of what you're trying to achieve, and just the general fit of personalities, because after all, at the end of the day, it's a people business, and you've got to get the ideas right. There's no absolute answers, and you've just got to feel that it's going to work between both sides.
In this case, I think there were 4 other agencies pitching for the account, and fortunately this time we came out on top.
The agency works out an advertising campaign for their clients. But how do they think up new slogans and different ideas each year? And how does it all work?
The best thing is to create a campaign that can last for years, and the campaigns that you can remember, Levi's or Heineken or whatever, they've been around for 15 years. It ranges from coming up with what's called, you know, a strategy for English heritage. So we think this is the way for English heritage to promote itself. We then come up with some creative recommendations, and then the final point is where that creative work should run, and that's a really important part of it, because you know, whether you buy posters or which press you go into is a really important part of what we recommend.
Liga Stellini can choose press, radio or even television advertising, but it's costly. So to save money, why can't they just take a snap of Dover Castle and make it into a poster?
Well, I mean, that'll be part of what we do. It'll be a bit more than a snap, and hopefully we'll, you know, create a headline or a piece of copy that really attracts people into it. But we need to do more than that for English heritage. We need to give people a sense of what English heritage adds to particular sites, so that it gets to the point where when you see the English heritage logo next to a site, you think that's going to be worth visiting.
Now, you don't always have to pay for advertising. A good story in a newspaper can get you a lot of attention. It's free, and it's usually set up by a PR person.
A PR person, short for public relations, is someone whose job is to promote an organisation or a product? Well, for me, as public relations manager, the audience that I target initially is the press, because through the press, we actually get to the public. One of the strong messages I'd give is that you shouldn't isolate marketing from PR. Ideally, it's a marketing and PR mix, and they climb on the back of each other. They shouldn't be operating separately.
This is called the keep, probably because they realise we can't throw our heritage away. We need to keep it. But English heritage needs a lot of visitors to keep visiting it, to pay for the cost of keeping it, so that visitors can keep visiting it. Now, that's easy enough to say. But if they do keep visiting it, will they wear it out?
Our role as an organisation is to preserve these sites, but at the same time make them as widely known as possible. But management of visitors on site is very much part of our remit. It would be wrong, however, I think, to think of our marketing job as simply forcing volume through the turnstiles. That is important, but there are other things that marketing can do and that we as an organisation can do. You don't necessarily have to visit a site to support its conservation, and that's where we do awareness raising. We have a membership scheme. We're also looking for general support. It doesn't just mean literally trampling on the site, as you say.
Selling memberships, a sort of season ticket system, is an important part of English Heritage's marketing plan. It's a good way of getting committed visitors.
You'll get a refund cash in hand of the money that pays to come in?
Yeah, that's very good.
Okay. If you'd like to put your name and address in there,
And the marketing will be most successful if it listens to what visitors and members are saying about the organisation.
Marketing isn't a one-way process, it's a two-way process. If we sit here thinking that we're giving out information and that's good enough, then we're not doing our marketing jobs properly. The most important part of the two-way process is the bit that comes back from the customer, and whether he comes back in letter form or communication form, or whether he writes a complaint letter, we need to be able to listen to them, and you can't listen to your customers enough. So the customer service function has a big role to play in that job.
For custodians at Dover, making sure customers enjoy their visit is a key to success.
You've got to be able to make sure that the visitor is getting the value for the money they've paid to come in. If they go away at the end of the day and they've learnt something about either what English Heritage do or what Dover Castle is, then I think they probably go away and they will come back again. If they go away and have learnt absolutely nothing, the chances of them coming back, I think, are probably very rare. I think if you enjoy something, you want to go back again. And also, if you've enjoyed something, you do tend to sort of say to your friends or your family, I had a really good day out there, it was really great, and maybe they'll come along too.
One of the cheapest forms of marketing is word of mouth. Right? They go back and they tell people they had a good time, and they'll come again. Repeat business is one of the major market segments of any product.
And if visitors feel welcome, like their guided tours and reckon they've had a good day out, they're much more likely to return for a second time, while the custodian team might just get a bit of job satisfaction.
There's job satisfaction in giving people a decent day out. The public are your public, particularly when talking in terms of guided tours. So it's a sense of achievement when you've finished a good guided tour.
10 minutes, 10 minutes time, okay? It's all about that. 10 minutes to wait, that's all.
There's no reason why people shouldn't come back with a monument such as this one, such as Hellfire Corner, because we're continually adding new sections to it. We're reconstructing more and more. There's more history to be made, if you like.
What's happened at Dover that's important is that we have a chance here, we have a site here that is so big and so full of history that we can open up and we can develop the site and keep bringing online new themes, new products. You know, like having a new ride for your theme park. So people want to come back. Oh, the tunnels have just opened. Let's go and have a look at the tunnels. Well, you haven't seen them. It's brilliant.
So, getting repeat business is important to English Heritage, and that's got to come from good marketing and true customer service. Sort of service that makes you look forward to revisiting this and other monuments. After all, I'm not a tourist, but I am still a potential customer of English Heritage, and so are you.
not a tourist, I'm a custodian.